How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Hi.
I'm doing good. I have to say, I love this book and had high expectations, and the show just blew it out of the water.
Oh,
I
thank
love the
you.
show.
Thank you. I know it's a tall order, when it's such a beloved book, and I would agree with you.
I mean, I love that this really touches on family systems relationships and what dysfunction does to a person and the relationships that they have, but also like what or who they run towards as a result. I just thought it really portrayed that beautifully.
Thank you.
Did you guys read the book?
Yes, because at the time there was no script that I read it, and it was kind of hanging around my kitchen, and I picked it up and um, read it, and I fell in love with Cheyenne. Um, I'm from Orange County, so I've hung out in Fullerton growing up. I know Cheyenne, just innately. I knew who she was. I didn't, and honestly, for me, once I sort of get through the whole makeup and hair and wardrobe process, I'm especially in this kind of character when in some ways it's so integral to her personality, and but so it didn't take a lot of prep, and when the writing is this strong, honestly, it's just the characters are so clear. And I mean, there's certain things like Nick had to learn how to wrestle, and you had to learn how to preach, and I had to learn how to walk in those heels. I mean, there's certain things you have to just technical things you need to learn, but just in terms of who they were, and the dialogue was so strong, and you just had to literally learn your lines, and as they say, don't bump into the furniture.
The characters are really wonderfully written. They easily could have been one note characters, but to what you're saying, like they really weren't. And the two of you have undeniable chemistry together. Even though like the longer we see Kenny and Cheyenne, the more obvious it becomes like that their approach to life is very different. So I was wondering, how did you guys develop that chemistry?
I mean, he's just. I mean, it's not you. We really we like each other. He's hilarious. He's funny. He's great to be around. Um, and we would find little things, during the scene, which you can do. Those things are not really planned, uh, uh, but when you're on such solid footing, it really allows you to play. And I think that we were able to do that.
And Michelle, I was so excited when I heard you were casting this because I can totally buy you and Ella as like a mother and daughter.
Mm.
And I was wondering, like, what kinds of conversations did you have with Elle about this relationship? Because it's so complex, it's dysfunctional, but they're also very close and tethered together.
There was just a lot of it's just a lot of discovery along the way, starting with, again, such a strong foundation to work from, and she's such a great actress, and so wonderful to play off of, and she's just ready for anything you throw at her, and her acting has such a, a truth to it, a purity to it, that it's really easy to just really let it happen, to just really let it unfold. We didn't really spend a lot of time talking about it, honestly. I mean, we're hanging around on the set and we would talk about the scenes, but um, not really because we had to.
And a lot happens in that Vegas episode. I mean, that fight that they have is devastating. It's epic. What was it like filming that scene?
It was hard. It was hard. It's like there's certain scenes. There were a number of them in this, but there were certain scenes when you read, you go, "Oh God, okay, that's going to be hard," and you sort of dread it as the days are approaching, and that would have been one of them. And I think when there are those kinds of scenes that are really long, really emotional, in a public place, it's where you have to deal with the elements. You have to really try to just block everything out around you. Um, it was, it was challenging, but again, the writing is so strong. There was nothing really other than the location to get in your way.
And we also see in that episode Kenny and Cheyenne's dynamic, like how different they function as people and as a couple. And at the same time, Cheyenne is, seeking out stability, which she really never got to have, and is very much like playing house with Kenny. There's awkwardness, there's hope, there's joy, and it's all wrapped up in love, and it's all wrapped up in that relationship. So I was wondering, as actors, how is it to balance all of that within this relationship?
Well, I think again, as Michelle said, the writings really was very strong on this, and there's some really obvious tropes that I think they could have pushed onto the Kenny part of this, and but it's handled with the relationships really handled with dignity. It's quite beautiful actually, because you're like, I don't think these two. Well, let me study this a little more. They really do. The show does a great job of pulling you in and seriously thinking about a relationship that I think at first blush you'd be like, no chance, this isn't worth really investigating. And that's I think that's a really good sign of good writing, and it was fun to do.
Also, the directors. We had three different directors, and they all kept us. They kept me from falling into those traps that you could have so easily fallen into with all of these characters. By the way, you're always walking that fine line of being, kind of a little off, but you have to stay grounded. And so, and I that kept us approaching them with dignity. Yeah.
And on a lighter note, the two of you have a great singing scene, that Elvis duet at the
Well,
chapel.
I don't know how great it is, but
Oh, it's great. It's great. Let's not call it anything other than what it is. It's great.
it's sweet.
It's a beautiful, beautiful karaoke moment.
It is. We get a Grammy nomination out of it? I don't know.
You know what? We'll see. There's a lot of talk. Of additional of a Michelle Kenny album coming out. Cheyenne Kenny album. We'll see.
Love it. How was it to film that scene?
How was what?
How was it to film that scene?
Oh, it was great. We recorded. I don't know about you. I recorded mine before. Yeah. I think they were so mortified of my voice and the lack of ability that I had that they spent. I remember like weeks before we shot it. We did it so they could probably auto tune it. But it was quite. It's really nice, when they're doing that little thing. It's quite moving. I think they're in there and they're singing their little song to each other, and it's again, it's an odd little dance. The Cheyenne Kenny world is an odd little dance, but it always feels vulnerable and kind of. It was kind of lovely. And by the way, boy, did we have a great Elvis impersonator.
Oh
if
God,
you need an Elvis impersonator, and I know you're out there, people, and you're wondering who's going to marry me, we got the guy for you. Just call Margo, 1-800-MARGO, and we'll set you up with the greatest Elvis impersonator of all time. I forget his name. Michelle?
I don't remember.
Okay, but he's great.
When I edit this video, I'm going to put that number across.
Okay,
the
great.
Yes.
He's a great guy.
1-800 something.
No, he's a really great guy. He owns the chapel and he does this whole show, and he showed up and he was so professional, so great. It was really great. I never got married by an Elvis impersonator, so I really was able to knock that off the bucket list. Yeah.
I love that you use the word vulnerable, Greg, because he is vulnerable. And I'm thinking about that scene when the family is telling him about OnlyFans, right? And that could have gone either way. But he just gave her so much grace and so much support. I was wondering your thoughts about that scene.
Yeah, it's really really lovely that they through. I mean, yeah, I mean, all these characters are somewhat flawed, and certainly Kenny proves that more than once in this show, and yet in that you find little surprises, and you know these people. The reason that they really feel like people is because they kind of sometimes don't do what you expect them to do. They do things that feel wrong instead of right, or right instead of wrong, and you're kind of keeping you off balance at all times. And it's really, I think it's the strength of the show, and I did like that moment very much because yes, very obvious how Kenny could have treated, you know, Margo, and kind of the disrespect, or the, you know, him being mortified, and what's it going to do about him, and how's it going to affect his life. But instead, he was, as you say, he handles it with great grace, and I kind of appreciated that because it follows that line in the show.
And what I love about these characters, as flawed as they are and as many mistakes as they make, at the end of the day, they're all there for each other.
Lastly, before I wrap with you all, it was just announced that we have a season 2. So thoughts about where Cheyenne and Kenny are?
Well, I know they're going to be in Los Angeles and not in Toronto. Excited. I love working at home. I love, just love filming in Los Angeles. Excited to see what happens with Kenny and Cheyenne. I have no idea, but I think we're rooting for them to maybe work through this. I think this is going to be a difficult one for him to redeem himself from. So we'll have to just see what he does.
Yeah. Deep hole, extremely deep hole. Can't be a deeper hole. I'm in the Earth's core, and so you've got to dig your way out. But we'll see what happens. But I feel that way about so many of so much of the story is I would have no idea how they're going to manage all of this in terms of all of this, where this goes, or
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited like everybody else.
Well, hopefully get another Elvis duet, at the least.
Elvis is coming back to the building.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, guys. It was so exciting to speak to both of you. You're all legends.
Thank you.